Welcome to Dev Tips. Dev Tips. Hey buddies, welcome to Dev Tips. My name is Travis. In case you haven't recognized or figured out, check it out. I'm in a hotel room tonight. Tonight is hotel room coding night and a jump on the bed a little bit. Once upon a time, I created a design for a music app, and I had a sign-up page on my website that if people wanted to know more, they could sign up and learn more, and when I had developed it, they would be notified. Well, as it came to pass, it's not developed.
C'est la vie.
But I have this mailing list of a few hundred people that I want to let them know about Dev Tips so they can join our community here. And I'm going to send them an email, and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be fun to code an email with you guys so that you could see a few concepts and kind of practices that I'm using when I'm coding the email, things like responsive techniques and messaging strategy and all of those good type of things. I'm going to start from absolute scratch. I'm going to go on this desktop here and create a new folder. I'm going to call it email, and I'm drag the email folder into my Espresso to create a project out of it, and Espresso has done that. We have an empty project. There's no files in it. Let's create the first file, which is going to be called email.html. It can be called anything. It doesn't matter. This is not going to have a rigid folder structure. In fact, I'm not even going to create a CSS folder or an images folder because there's very few of each of these. So the second thing I'm going to do, actually I have a thumbnail of the video. Oh, it's going to be a video email. I have this thumbnail here. I'm going to drop it in the project as well so I can get it off my desktop. I'm going to start straight with a blank HTML page, and we're going to do everything we've learned. We're going to say doc type HTML and period. And then I'm going to say HTML, closing HTML, head. In the head I'll put a title, email for my homies. And then I'm going to make a link to my style sheet. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh no, a style sheet in the email. You can't have external style sheets in the email. Well, you're right, but I'm not actually sending this as an email. So, cool your jets, bro. What we're going to do is I'm going to create this. It's easier to work with external style sheets, and so that's what we're going to do to create the email, and then later we will do some magic and put all those styles in the actual markup that we're writing here. So it'll be style.css. Done. Okay. Now I need to go to my body. I need to make a body, and then okay, let's pause here. Now, an interesting thing to note is that all of the work that I just did will be deleted. I don't think that's interesting to note right now. It will become interesting later, but I know it, and it's like a spoiler alert. It's gonna be interesting, spoiler! New file, style.sass. Yay! Okay, and then I'm going to drag this folder into my code kit so that it will compile the Sass for me. And I'm going to make sure that the output path is not in the CSS folder, it's just in the root, because that's where my style sheet is pointed to right here. See? Cool. Okay. Style.sass. Now, here is probably one of the most important things you can do. Don't style the body at all. Leave the body absolutely normal. Don't style it. Okay, here's what you do. You write a div and you class it like something like email container. container. Sometimes I talk and my fingers don't do what my mouth says, and so I end up looking like a guy who can't talk and write, because actually I'm a guy who can't talk or write. Email container is the wrap for the email message. It's actually, let me just change that to make this more specific. Email background. Yeah, now you understand what I'm saying. I'm not using the body as like I'm not using the body as a hook to define any font sizes or font styles or even background colors. Like the email background div is what I'm going to be targeting as the most ancestral type of element in this document. And then I'm going to put the email, it's a div, it's caps lock, it's div, class, email, container. Okay. Now let's just actually go and, before I do any styles, let's go and describe the email that I want to send. I made a video for this email, so I'm imagining, I haven't designed it at all, we're just going to design it right here in the browser. I'm imagining it's going to have like a headline, and then it's going to say, or it's going to have a thumbnail, and then it'll be like some description text below, just a short line or two, and then a really good call to action below that, and then below that, like, you know, the regular footer text or something like that. So, actually, there's something called a pre-header here. If you are not familiar with pre-headers, that's okay. This is like hardcore email jockey kind of lingo right here. Pre-header. Now, in an email client, like if you're going to your Gmail application, there's going to be the subject line, and then after that there's going to be a few lines of text, and these are usually the first few lines that you've written in the body. Well, those few lines are really important because they're going to help the user of the email, help the email recipient know whether or not they should just delete the email outright or pass it around, pass it by, or something like that. So we want to make sure that those few we want to make sure we can take advantage of that opportunity to share a good choice of words for those few words. So we often call that a pre-header. It's just like a little bitty bit of text, and sometimes we actually use CSS to hide it, and I'll show you what that is like right here. Okay, so the pre-header, I'm going to say, a long time ago, you signed up to learn about a music app I designed for iOS. I have some news for you. Smiley face. Okay, now I have a pre-header. This will be the first snippet of text that you'll see even before you jump into the email. And I can use CSS to not hide it like a display none or anything, because that wouldn't work for our purpose of being a pre-header. But we can, you know, make it small and make the color not very visible, so that we can make the emphasis when they do open the email be on the email message. Right. Okay, so the email container is going to be the container that is being responsive. It's growing or shrinking depending on the browser size. Now, an interesting thing about emails is, you know, the strategy has changed quite a bit recently for good emails. A lot of people are using the old strategies. You'll see, like, I got an email from American Airlines today, like confirming my flight number out here. And it was basically, they just emailed me a web page. It had header links, it had navigation, the logo at the top, and so much. But so let me show you what a modern, snappy looking email will look like. It will say, I'll have an H1 up here, and I'll say, hi. I don't really know what to, I'm not really good at crafting this language right here. I'll say, hi, Do you remember? Because I haven't like written these guys like pretty much ever. They just signed up and I just like keeping their names in the list for no reason. I don't know. So I'm just going to try to move them over to a place where I'm actually active, which is here on this YouTube channel. Hi, do you remember signing? No? Okay. I'll say free music. Not happen. I made this video to explain why. And I'm gonna edit this copy. It's not really great right now. And then I'm gonna actually put the image here. Image source, and it'll change, but right now I'll kind of call it thumbnail.jpg. It's not a div. Silly bear. And then it's a really big image. And then after the image, I want a few, paragraphs, right? Actually, maybe I just want to move this to the paragraph. Na 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 na. Hey. Okay, and then I want to put another call it a div with a class of a CTA. And then in there, I'm going to put the anchor tag. Ref, and I'll make this ref to the video. URL once I upload it to YouTube. And I actually want to put the image in ref 2. Because I'm sure they're going to click on the image instead of the link down there, and I think both of them should be clickable, so I'll just put a link around the ref so you can click through it. Okay, let's make some quick styles to clean this mess up. The first thing actually, I'm going to do max width. That way, if they have a smaller screen, it will shrink. And I'm just going to say it's going to be 500 anyway. And then I'm going to make sure all images are max width of 100%. And save that. And style. There we go. Okay. Now I've got something to work with. Email container is 500 pixels wide, and so that we can see it, let me make the background pink, actual width on it. So let's say here, and I want to make the pre-header look like this too. So I'll go pre-header, and then I can put at ext extend dot email container. Okay, so what an extend does, it's in Sass. It just takes. Actually, I'll show you what it does. It'll double up on the selectors that give those properties. So we're not being wasteful with our selectors there, with our styles there. So it's just a Sass thing. And this is not a Sass tutorial, so I won't cover it very much, but that's something to look at. But be careful with them because they can be a little funny sometimes. And I also want to make the pre-header, you know what, I want to make the, first before that I want to make the background, email background, yeah. I'm gonna make it it's like a monkey, and I'm gonna give it some padding. Why am I giving it padding? Yeah, I'm gonna give it padding. 20 pixels? No, not 20. 10. Yeah, that's good. And then I'm gonna make this background and color. And I want to change the default text to font family sans serif because it's cool and modern. See what I did? I just changed the text color to the background color, so the text basically disappears, but it's still there. And when you see this on the pre-header text, it will show up there. And so this is the text that they're going to see. That's a super sneaky trick. And I want to font size because it's taking up a lot of space for no reason. Font size 5 pixels? Sure. And then pre-header. And so let's go. Oh, that was on the email. Don't want that. I want to put that on the pre-header. Okay, and then the email container, it needs to be centered. So we're going to say margin 0 pix auto. So the top and bottom 0 pixels, but the left and right have auto, so it's going to center that container because there's a defined width, a max width of 500. So let's shrink this down, and it's like, holla, check me out. I shrink down because I'm responsive. Now, an interesting thing about responsive, in responsive web design, you have a lot more to consider than an email. You know, it's a lot of columns. You have like different, you know, is the logo going to be too big when you shrink this down and stuff? With an email, it's a lot easier. Generally, you know, best practice is you should only be using one column in your email. You know? Like 90% of the email that I receive it on my phone. And so I just keep on scrolling. If I have too many things to look at, you know, one column generally is better for like most interactions that people have on the internet. So that's what we're gonna do. So when I say this is a responsive web design, like honestly, what I'm talking about is that it's using mobile first practices. And those mobile first practices are extending into the desktop viewing of it. It looks good on desktop. You know, that's my goal. So yeah, I want the email container to be overflow hidden, and I want the border radius IUS to be 50. No, don't shut down. What? I don't know how to compute their pixel. Okay, save. Yes, you're nice, aren't you? Okay. Now we have a P and a div class. Okay, so let's take a look at this paragraph. Take the pink off. Actually, I'm gonna make it white. And look at this paragraph. I'm gonna say you need a margin of 20 pixel. Yeah, that's pretty sex. How about your font size is 16 pixel. Oh, pixels. Okay. Oh, it already was 16 pixels. Default, browser default. There's no reset here. These are all the whole styles. Everything else is a browser default. Let's make them centered. Center. Text align is center. And then color, let's make it a little grayish, or 666 is always a good gray. And line height. What's cool about a line height is that if you don't use a value type, like px for pixels or em for m, it will just do a multiplier of the, so 16, if I put 1, the line height will be 16. But if I do 1.5, you know, so I'll stretch it out a little bit. I want to make these like 18. 18, that's good. And then font weight can be 300. Oh, that's a little nicer. And if they don't have like a light version of Helvetica or Arial on their, if they're on a PC, you know, it doesn't matter, but it's just progressive enhancement. If they can look at this nicely, it will display nicely. It seems really naked. Watch this video. If you get an email that has my face and just said, watch this video, I don't think this is very well designed. But that's another story. Okay, and then we're going to look at the CTA. So CTA class. I want it to text align. Center. And then I want it to also be margin. Yeah. 20. 20 is so good for margins. It's so nice. Now we're going to take that anchor and let's text decoration none. Take that underline off. Let's say the back. Oh, let's make the display inline line block, so we can like put some nice padding on it. Oh, speaking of, let's background. I want it to be a nice, rich, cool blue. So let's look at blues. Blue hexes. I don't even know if that's something to that will return any good results. Blue hex. Oh, okay, we got shades of blue. Huh. Okay, here's some nice blues. I like this one. Yay, we did codes. Blue. Alright. Save. Wow, that's nice. Color, white, padding, 20. Bam! I'm gonna say 1020. So if you do a shorthand for padding, and you do, so padding you can put, I'll just do some CSS learning for you right now. I'm sure you already know this because we're talking about structure and stuff in this video, but I've never covered this in any dev tip before. And that'd be cool. So a shorthand for like things like margin, padding, border radius, and a few other things that have like defined whatever. So if you do one value, it will attribute that same padding to every side. In this case, padding top, padding right, padding bottom, and padding left. If you do two paddings, so I'm going to do 10, 20. What we have here is the top and bottom get 10, the left and right get 20. And it's just the same as doing this, right? So the same. So in here we're doing like, you start at the top and then count like clockwise. So top, right, left, right, bottom, left. And that's what we're doing here. This is shorthand. If you do 15, it's like this would be top 10, right 20, bottom 15, left 20. That's what that means. So it's a little weird. That's the CSS shorthands for paddings. Okay, I don't want to make a border. I don't like this blue now. What is it, 5? If you don't like a blue, you can go into the inspect element. This is cool. And click on this number. That's not what I want to hold shift and click on it. No? Okay, it does it. Wasn't sure if that was just Chrome or this. Okay, so HSL. HSL is, this is the same code in HSL that will give us that hex that I put in here. But now that I have it in HSL, I can just edit it. So hue, saturation, and lightness. I want to keep the hue, keep the saturation and lightness. I want to make it a little bit lighter, so make it like 30. Oh, sorry. darker. Make it 70. 60? That's a little too light, bro. Ooh, that's a good saturation. Okay, and then what do I do? I'm going to turn it back into 8, then do a hex and grab it, and then put it back in my code. That's the lazy man's way of changing your colors. And the lazy programmer is the best programmer because they will just find the easiest way to do any hard task. So this is how our email is shaping up. We have our pre-header text up here, and it's hidden. It's really small, but it will show up as the subject line. Redesigned music app from Travis Nielsen will hot. Will. Ugh, what did I just do? Will not. Redesigned will hot. Alright, headlines aside, I'm going to change all this headlines, and probably I want to put something above the image now that I'm looking at it. Where's that image? Right here. Page 1. Hey you guys! Ah. Yeah, something like that. That looks really great. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that center, and I'm going to put it, we'll just put it on email container so that the heading will get centered too. And then I don't need to have it on CTA either. Cut down on my codes. So, yeah. I think that if that is a good headline, this would probably be a pretty good email. I mean, it's short and sweet, straight to the point, it's responsive, it's going to look good on a phone. It's going to look great on a phone. Oh my gosh, it's going to look so dang good on a phone. And then I want to put that other crap that I have to put with an email, so, and I'll put that right here, and this will be called div class footer junk. And it's like my address and a unsubscribe link. I want to do that extend again down here. Footer class junk. At extend. What am I extending? Email container? And then I want to turn the background to none because I don't want a background. Okay. And then I want to make padding 20 because 20 is so good. And then font size, make it 10 because no, I don't want anybody to click the unsubscribe. Okay, maybe 12, that was a little not generous. And then I need to make those links, so you're going to be a link, you guy. Href. I'll just make this the color of links. Links everywhere. Now it looks good. Okay, so that's how we do awesome email layout. Now for the extremely important bit. I need to take all of this style and I'm going to duplicate this email right here. Duplicate. And I'm going to call it inlined. And I'm going to chop off the head and chop off the body. Style, copy, email inlined, and oh, actually I need the head and body still. Not time to chop it off. It's time to put a style in the head is what I wanted to do. Silly Travis. Style. That's what I want to do. save. Okay, and then I'm going to run over here to the internet, and I'm going to say, internet, do me a search, find me the CSS inliner, and it's by MailChimp. Yeah, Beaker. Okay, so what this cool tool does, it's a cool tool. It'll allow you to paste your HTML, just what it says here, paste your HTML, and then MailChimp will take all this CSS and make them inline styles. And we want to strip out the style tags for sure. Convert it, boom. Oh, that's not it. It's down here. I always get confused about that. I need to redo the UX on this page. So copy and then everything, delete it, paste the new one in. Okay, notice that every style here is now in line, right? And this is so important because a lot of mail clients will ignore style tags outright. Gmail as a web client, it actually cuts the head off. So I'm going to come in here, I'm just going to do it preemptively because I want to make sure that I can stand on my own 2 feet without my body, whatever. So I want to make sure that this email is good enough for Gmail to whatever, because Gmail's the top email client. There is science behind that. Oh, look at what happened. Why did footer junk not? See what I'm saying? Like, you gotta keep watch of that. I'm gonna fix that. Anyhow, so this email now is primed for me to plug it into an email sender like MailChimp or the other one, Campaign Monitor, whatever. And then I can send that off to all my homies and tell them about this awesome video. So when they click on this thumbnail, they're gonna get a super fun video to watch. And it's gonna be similar to this video, except for not even closely similar at all. I'm not even gonna be in a hotel room. I'm gonna have a super fun time sleeping in this bed, and you guys have a super fun time doing whatever the heck you're gonna do after you watch this video. Bye! Hey everybody, welcome to Dev Tips. Ow. Welcome to Dev Tips. I'm in a hotel room.